earlier. Started to get the mechanics of it down. Ran out of time. But yeah, we're going to be flying through some rings. This first section, you're not quite as hurried. But don't worry. There's plenty of opportunities to fly and get agitated just like every other time you fly through the rings on this stupid game. I didn't mean to say stupid. I technically haven't played it all the way through. Once we get it beat fair and square, then I can actually give an actual assessment on my perception. Really trying to be an open-minded guy about it. I think after kind of getting over the initial irritation of learning the controls and kind of how it operated, it's now shifted into more of a fixation just to prove that I can beat it. But nonetheless, it's still mine droppers. These are those annoying guys we got to know on the dam level that drop bombs on you. So, gotta run into them. There they are. Thankfully, the game gives you some sound cues to help you find it. Do not hold on to it long or it'll blow up on you. There's one. Just try to run right into it. Through it as far as you can. One to go. They really don't like you. Alright, let's find that mine dropper. Where are you? Sometimes they get up a little bit higher. There it is. This is a lower riding one. This little mission wouldn't be so annoying if it wasn't so hard to control.
Then there's no time to waste.
Biggest thing here is making sure you don't get turned around or upside down as these rings bounce and bob back and forth. Doing the best you can to stay on point with the accuracy so you have some room for margin of error toward the end. Which I didn't do right there apparently, or here. Metropolis-ish. If you can survive the density of Lex Luthor's fog, aka the game designer's lazy way of not detailing graphics in the far reaches or backgrounds. I get it. Working with what they had. I just wonder the potential this game could have had it not been so much of a focus on rings. I liked the mechanics of the dam level. It was really glitchy, but the mystery of how to solve it, everything was fun. Yes, we found, like I said, lots of glitches, but I think more of the game being like that could have been cool. too much, just enough. This is kind of a interesting dynamic you run into here, and actually I would argue it's the most challenging part of this particular section. So when those things are going in the water, oh, there they're moving. The Great Slalom of Superman 64. If you like skiing, can you do it in the air? This is another section where you can get turned around pretty easy if you get going too fast. So my suggestion is back off on the B button. All the difference in the world. If you need to hit the brakes, remember the R is the brake button, but I think the controls are still a little bit challenging in that regard. Alright, we're going to slow down a little right here. See, we're doing better on time this go around. A lot better. See the difference maker? Alright. So we got to stay ahead of the skater boy here. Take these guys out. Skater boy does not have. Come on. Oh my gosh, what a pain. You better get ahead, boy. They're everywhere. There's ones up on the ledge too. Let's come on down, make sure there aren't any more. Alright. So skater boys up there. Now we gotta knock these ones down. Get ahead here. Oh boy, more rings. No good job, no thank you, Superman. Just back in the sky, flying some more. I think they could have used some cutscenes or even just like an animated graphic like, thank you, Superman, you saved the day. Venturing into uncharted territory here, so I don't know what's coming next. I feel like if it's anything like the first run, maybe this is the home stretch of the stage, so I'm just going to try to play it safe, but not dawdle either. Because you live for those saving checkpoints, that's for sure. Live for them on this game. This game sinks its hooks into you, and then you're addicted to the power of wanting to win, in spite of its glitches, its frustrations, the time, the emotion. Must have been a for these guys that put this game together. Just was reading, said something that they attempted to port this to the PlayStation, but because of a bunch of legal disputes between Warner Brothers, Titus Entertainment, and everything, despite the fact that Sony greenlit what would have been likely a better and more enjoyable port, it never happened. Although a couple of years ago, grab and throw the two jumpers. Okay, where are they? Let's get it. Where are you? There's one. Where's the other one? What I was going to say was somebody released a leak of the port just a couple of years ago. I haven't seen it. I don't know. Oh yeah, that's where it's at, baby. Oh my gosh. There is more to this than I was expecting. Wow. This must be a pretty long stretch to have 7.5 minutes of fly through. We are really trying here. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Would the PlayStation port have worked any better? Would the developers have come up with some alternate gameplay types, or would it have just been like a carbon copy of this one? Interesting to think about. But it dawned on me last night. Holy cow, this thing is 26 years old. So when I think back to when I was a kid and playing it, 10 years old, 11 years old, that would have been the equivalent of like a video game developed in 1973 or something. Doesn't feel like it was that long ago. It really doesn't. Anyway, we're just gonna skip that guy. Anything we can do to get past these flying levels? Because one round of flying around wasn't enough. I don't think I've ever played any other Superman video games before. But what I will say is it seems like it's been considered a cursed franchise by a lot of game fans, because as fun as you think this character would be, developers just haven't quite taken him the direction that you would expect. back to like Spider-Man. Even the N64 Spider-Man, like, it had some real nice arcade style fighting, exploring, all that fun stuff. And it seems like in this game there's a little bit of that. There's just not, so far, has not been much of it. It's gonna be like a ring level every other round. I don't know what I think about that, really. I feel like a couple of these is okay, but this already feels like overkill as it is. Grab and kill the 3 robots to protect the people. Oh boy. Where are the robots? Oh, these guys. One more. I'm kind of wondering how much. Oh my word. Okay. It's like, let's just kind of put this section on ADD. We're gonna give you a little breather right there, chunking robots. Where am I? I don't know how much time this round is going to take, because this is now like what, the 4th round of rings, or is it the 5th? And remember, there's no saves between these, so you're really working hard to try to get to the next checkpoint. But whether somebody would want to actually sit down and do this all in like a one night hurrah, I don't know. I think I'd be way too irritated. A little bit of other trivia while we're flying here. Apparently at one point in time there was some discussion with developers of scrapping the idea of an arcade action style game and making Superman more like what was popular at the time, SimCity 2000, where Superman is the mayor of Metropolis and you're designing the city, God's eye view kind of thing. I don't know. I think you've got to have a good normal Superman game before you can venture out into spin-off games. So that's my 2 cents. I think the executives that ex-nayed that idea were smart to not follow through on that. But when you kind of envision SimCity style Metropolis where you're in charge and you're building and you're developing, I don't know, that sounds kind of cool too. So just not in a world where Superman can't fly or laser vision or any of that stuff. That just seems pretty lame, like a cop out. Like, well, we can't figure out how to actually hack it with this, so we're just gonna do something different entirely. So all that to say, I'm glad they ended up going this route instead of the SimCity route. So as terrible as the game may be, or may not be, I haven't played it all the way through yet. There's a challenge to this, and